Hello and welcome to this lecture, and in this lecture we are going to talk something about the range function. Now the range function is actually a single function in Python, but we will be dedicating an entire lecture to this because it is an extremely important concept which we will be using throughout this course. And also when we will design some complex Python applications, we will still be needing the range function and we will be using it extensively. So it is extremely important to cover the important parts related to the range function. So now let's basically go ahead and learn what the range function actually does. So the basic significance of the range function is to specify a particular range. Now you might be thinking, what might be the use of using this range function? So let's take a simple example to basically see what is the use of range function. So let's say you want to actually print out the numbers from 1 to 10. So in that case, you could make use of range function and you could basically print out the numbers from 1 to 10 by using a few lines of code. So the very first thing which you need to do is that you need to create a list of numbers. So you type in numbers equals, and in this list, instead of having numbers from 1 to 10, what you could do is that you could completely delete this and you could type in list and you could type in range. As this is going to be a list, we will give it a type of list, and inside here we will type range, and in the brackets right over here for range, you actually need to mention how many numbers you actually want in this list. So I'm going to type in 10. And if you basically print out the numbers list now, so if we save the code and if you actually run this, as you could see, you will get 10 numbers from 0 to 9. So essentially when you pass in a value of 10 to the range function, it is going to have the range of numbers from 0 to 9. So this parameter right here basically asks you how many numbers do you actually want in your list. So as we have mentioned, we want 10 numbers, so it is going to start from 0 and it is going to have numbers till 9. So essentially we have made use of the range function to make a list of numbers from 0 to 9. One more thing which you could do here is that you could also specify from which number do you want to start the range and where you actually want to end it. So if you go right here and type in 3,8, if you save the code and if you run it, as you could see, you will have the numbers from the range of 3 to 8, which is basically 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So what you need to do here is that you need to mention the starting point of the range, then you need to mention the ending point of the range, and that's it. Your job is done and it is going to automatically have the numbers in the range of 3 to 8. Now you could also make this range a little bit bigger by typing in something like 1 to 30. So if we save the code and if you run it, as you could see, now you will have the numbers ranging from 1 to 30, which is basically numbers from 1 to 29. Now one more interesting thing which you could do with range is that you could also mention a third argument to the range function which determines the interval of sequence. So what I mean by interval is that, as you could see, when we have numbers in our list, we basically have the numbers serially, like after 1 we have 2, after 2 we have 3 and everything like that. But you could also go ahead and you could specify a particular interval here. So what if we actually go ahead, give a comma here and specify our interval as 3. So what it is essentially going to do is that it is going to take 1 and it is directly going to skip 3 digits ahead. So in order to get a better understanding, let's run this code and see what I'm talking about. So as you could see, instead of having 2 right after 1, now we have 4, and after 4 we have 7. So essentially it leaves out an interval of 3 digits after each and every number, and it is going to print out the next number. So this is how the range function actually works, and you could also specify some random interval like 5. So in this case it is going to skip 5 digits, and you will have the digits in the interval of 5 from the range of 1 to 30. Also you could go ahead and change this range according to your convenience as you need it. And if you run this, as you could see, now we have numbers from 1 to 100, but only with the interval of 5. Now we have only learned how to basically write the range function, but we will be learning the significance of the range function in the next lectures. So range functions can be used while we make for loops, while loops, or to traverse through the list, which we are going to learn in the upcoming lectures. So this was the basic intro of the range function. So in the next lecture itself, we are going to form a for loop by using the range function. So thank you very much for watching this lecture, and I'll see you guys in the next lecture. Thank you.